Have you ever wondered how your favorite chocolate is made? It's a process that's as rich and intricate as the flavors you savor with every bite. Our tale begins thousands of years ago when ancient civilizations discovered the magic of the cocoa tree. To them, chocolate was more than just a sweet treat. It was a symbol of wealth, a sacred offering, and at times even used as a form of currency. Fast forward to today, and chocolate remains a beloved indulgence worldwide. But its journey from tree to treat is a fascinating one. It's a story of transformation, where humble cocoa beans undergo a series of processes to become the irresistible chocolate bars we know and love. From the lush cocoa plantations to the meticulous craftsmanship in chocolate factories, there's a whole world behind that velvety smooth bite of chocolate. Now, prepare to embark on a delicious journey that takes us from the cocoa tree all the way to the chocolate bar. The journey of your favorite chocolate starts in tropical climates where cocoa trees thrive. Imagine a lush, green, and intensely aromatic environment. This is the natural habitat of the cocoa tree, a small evergreen that grows within 20 degrees of the equator. Its scientific name, Theobroma cacao, literally translates to food of the gods, which seems fitting for a plant that gives us the essential ingredient for chocolate. Growing a cocoa tree is no easy task. It takes about 3 to 5 years for a cocoa tree to bear fruit. These fruits, or pods as they're more commonly known, grow directly from the trunk and oldest branches of the tree. Each pod is quite unique, ranging in color from green to yellow or even purple, and containing 30 to 40 cocoa beans nestled within a sweet, pulpy interior. Harvesting these cocoa pods is a labor-intensive process done entirely by hand. Farmers carefully select ripe pods and cut them from the tree using a machete. Why by hand, you ask? Because machine harvesting could damage the tree and the unripe pods, affecting the tree's ability to produce in the future. Once the pods are harvested, they're opened, typically with a machete, to reveal the precious cocoa beans inside. It's a sight to behold, these beans embedded in the pod's pulp, glistening with potential. These are the seeds that will eventually become chocolate. After the beans are extracted, they're left to ferment, a crucial step in developing the chocolate's flavor. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, that's a tale for another scene. To sum it up, the cocoa tree, in its tropical home, starts us off on this sweet journey. From the careful cultivation of the trees, to the hand-picking of the pods, and the extraction of the cocoa beans, each step is a testament to the craft and care that goes into every piece of chocolate. Once harvested and extracted, these cocoa beans are all set for the next stage of their transformation. The magic truly begins with the fermentation and drying process. This is where the cocoa beans start to acquire their distinctive chocolate flavor. Fermentation is an essential step in the chocolate-making process. After the beans have been harvested from the cocoa pods, they are placed in shallow containers covered with banana leaves and left to ferment for several days. This process is crucial because it helps to reduce the beans' bitterness and allows the development of the complex flavors that we associate with chocolate. The heat generated during fermentation also kills the beans' germs and kickstarts the transformation of the beans' sugars into alcohol and then into lactic and acetic acid. Fermentation is a bit of an art. The length of time the beans are fermented affects the final flavor of the chocolate. Shorter fermentation times can lead to more acidic, fruity flavors, while longer fermentation times can result in more robust, earthy flavors. After the beans have been fermented, they are then spread out to dry. This drying process is just as important as the fermentation. It halts the fermentation process and reduces the moisture content of the beans, preparing them for the journey ahead. The beans are typically spread out in the sun to dry naturally, a process that can take up to a week. During this time, the beans are turned regularly to ensure they dry evenly. Once dry, the beans are sorted and packed. The beans are hand-sorted to remove any that are broken, moldy, or otherwise unsuitable. The remaining beans are then packed into sacks, ready for their journey to chocolate makers around the world. So, from the tropical climates where cocoa trees thrive, through the careful process of fermentation and drying, these beans have come a long way, and they still have a journey ahead of them. Now, these dried beans are ready to be shipped worldwide, where they'll become the chocolate we all love. Upon arrival at the chocolate factory, the cocoa beans experience a complete transformation. Just as coffee beans need roasting to bring out their full flavor, so too do cocoa beans. They're spread out on a tray and placed into a large oven. The heat of the oven, typically around 120 degrees Celsius, starts to work its magic on the beans. The roasting process can last anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes, and it's a delicate dance of heat and timing. Too little and the beans won't fully develop their flavors. Too much and they could burn, rendering them unusable. It's the chocolatier's skill and experience that ensures the beans are roasted to perfection. During roasting, the beans undergo a series of chemical reactions. The heat causes the moisture inside the beans to evaporate, which in turn leads to a change in their structure. The once tough and bitter beans soften, their color darkens, and their flavor profiles deepen and intensify. This is where the true, rich, and complex flavor of chocolate begins to emerge. Once the beans have been roasted, they're ready for the next stage, grinding. The roasted beans are first broken down into smaller pieces, often referred to as nibs. These nibs are then fed into a grinding machine. The grinding process is where the magic really happens. As the nibs are ground down, they transform from solid pieces into a thick, flowing liquid. This is known as cocoa liquor, and it's the heart and soul of all chocolate. Despite its name, cocoa liquor contains no alcohol. Instead, it's a combination of cocoa solids and cocoa butter, the two main components of chocolate. The grinding process not only breaks down the nibs but also releases the cocoa butter, allowing it to mix with the cocoa solids to create the cocoa liquor. The result is a liquid that's set to be the heart of our chocolate. The transformation from bean to liquid is a crucial part of the chocolate-making process. It's through roasting and grinding that we're able to unlock the true potential of the humble cocoa bean and set the stage for creating the chocolate we all know and love. We're now at the final stages where the chocolate starts to take its familiar form. This is where the magic happens, where the raw, gritty cocoa mass transforms into that velvety, melt-in-your-mouth delight we all know and love. Let's start with conching. This process is named after the shell-like shape of the machine used, the conche. During conching, the chocolate is heated and ground for several hours, sometimes even days. This intense grinding action breaks down the sugar and cocoa particles, and the heat helps to evaporate any remaining unwanted flavors or acidity. The result is a smooth, creamy chocolate with a perfectly balanced flavor. But there's more to it than just taste and texture. The conching process also aerates the chocolate, allowing the flavors to develop and meld together. It's a bit like letting a fine wine breathe. The chocolate is given time to express its true character, revealing those complex notes of fruit, nut, and spice that make each chocolate unique. Once the chocolate has been conched to perfection, it's time for tempering. This is a crucial step in giving the chocolate its signature glossy finish and satisfying snap. Tempering involves heating the chocolate to a precise temperature, then cooling it down, and finally reheating it slightly. This careful control of temperature results in a stable crystalline structure within the chocolate. Tempering is a bit of a science, but it's also an art. It requires skill and patience to get it just right, but the payoff is worth it. Tempered chocolate not only looks beautiful with its shiny surface and smooth texture, but it also tastes better. The crystals formed during tempering ensure that the chocolate melts at just the right temperature, releasing its full bouquet of flavors as it dissolves on your tongue. After a meticulous process of conching and tempering, the chocolate is finally ready to be savored. It's been a long journey from bean to bar, but the end result is a piece of chocolate that's not just a sweet treat, but a true sensory experience. So, that's the incredible journey your chocolate takes before it reaches your hands. It all starts with the humble cocoa tree, a tropical plant that produces the cocoa beans. These beans are the heart and soul of your chocolate bar. They undergo a meticulous process of fermentation and drying, which is crucial in developing their unique flavors. Next, the beans are roasted and ground, transforming them into a lush, chocolatey paste. This stage is where the magic really happens, as the heat and grinding process unlock the rich, aromatic qualities of the beans. Finally, the chocolate is conched and tempered, a delicate process that gives your chocolate its smooth texture and glossy finish. This final stage is what ensures your chocolate melts perfectly in your mouth, delivering that exquisite, unforgettable taste. Next time you bite into your favorite chocolate, remember the fascinating journey it has taken to give you that moment of bliss. Now that you've been on the sweet journey of chocolate from tree to bar, how about taking the journey into your own hands? Have you ever thought about making your own chocolate at home? Imagine the satisfaction of tasting a bar of chocolate that you've made yourself from scratch. We're considering a follow-up video where we'll guide you through the process of making homemade chocolate, but we want to hear from you. Would you be interested in learning how to make your very own chocolate at home? If so, let us know in the comments section below. Until then, keep enjoying the sweet journey of chocolate.